everybody, and welcome to an in-person Modern Horizons 2 set review. I'm here with Pro Tour, Players Tour, whatever the hell, champion, competitor, Rivals League competitor, F&M champion, Eli Loveman, and we're here to talk to you about the white cards of Modern Horizons 2. We're going to go through the ones that we think, in our expert opinions, are the best ones for the modern format, and maybe a little bit beyond that. And if there's a card that we don't talk about, that's because it sucks. So we'll get right into it with Abiding Grace. This is a 3-mana enchantment. You'll see it up on the screen, but it's basically gaining life or getting back 1-drops. What do you think about this one, Eli?
Well, the first cards that come to mind are kind of the Martyr of Sand style decks. Sometimes they're really grindy, sometimes they're more just kind of mid-rangey. But yeah, getting back Martyr's Sands, getting back Sarah Ascendant in that deck. That deck's fringe playable. The best card with this is probably Call Me a False Hope, which is a 1/1 for 1 where you can sack it to Fog. Similar to Spore Frog for all you EDH players out there. But yeah, like this is just like if that's a 2-card combo that just hard locks your opponent out of their combat step. So even though this card's kind of niche, it does have some interesting uses. I think it might see some fringe play.
So we got a Soul Sisters card right off the bat. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast. Next up, we've got Blacksmith's Skill, the 1-mana instant combat trick from Modern Horizons 2. What about this one?
Well, you nailed it on the head. This is a protection spell for an affinity deck. Normally, those types of decks don't play this effect, but, like, you know, I can think of a really good artifact creature that you might want to protect. Inkmoth Nexus, giving that thing +2/+2 hexproof and indestructible. We've seen that be a very successful strategy in Infect, and this is a perfect card for a Hammer Time strategy. You want to protect all your artifact creatures and hit them with a big hammer.
Gotta love Hammer Time. Outside of that, is there anywhere else you think you could see this one coming out, or is it just really...
Depends on if the cards in this set drastically change how you build a Hardened Scales deck. If you want to play white in that deck for some reason, then this is a nice effect for a removal heavy metagame.
Next up, we've got Blossoming Calm from another 1-mana white instant that basically gives you hexproof and you gain 2 life. This seems like a sort of counterspell against burn decks or Ad Nauseam or whatever else you can think of.
Yeah, this card has a lot of applications. They're all kind of bad though, but there are a lot of them. You can stop Valakut triggers, you can stop discard spells, burn spells. Yeah, there's like some sort of combo deck that relies on like Grape Shotting you. You can stop Grape Shot, you can stop Lightning Storm. That being said, these are all effects that I'm not sure that you want. The gain 2 life will make it shine versus burn. So if you're a deck that wants to protect your hand but also have a sideboard card versus burn, maybe that can slot in there. Some sort of like combo deck where you want to not get Thoughtseize, but have game against burn post board.
Seems kind of like a white Veil of Summer to me, except your creatures aren't getting protected from John's removal spells. But
yeah, you're getting 2 life instead.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as drawing a card.
Well, you're getting 2 cards out of it with Rebound, but yeah. Not the best card here. Next up, we've got, oh boy. We've got a Human Soldier.
Here we go.
See, I know Eli knows this one. We don't even have to cut.
This is the big money.
We've got Esper Sentinel, and the question that I know everybody on Twitter wants to ask is, does it go in humans?
I think it might. Normally, I have to dream crush people and say, no, your pet card doesn't go in humans, but this card, I think, is pretty reasonable for 1 mana. You're kind of getting a bad deal on the face of it. It's a 1-mana 1/1, and the first non-creature spell they play gets taxed. However, it checks the ability checks power. So if you play a deck like humans, or Affinity 2 is an artifact, you can pump it, or you can put a cranial plating on this. They have to pay 10 or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty cheap. You can play a couple copies in humans. Helps out your Thalias by making their spells even more expensive. Is good with Thalia's Lieutenant. Make him pay 2. I think it's maybe even better in Legacy though. There's a little bit less hate for 1 toughness creatures. Red and 6 is banned in that format. You really can't play Lava Dart in that format. So maybe this is more of a legacy card with some human tribal affinity application in Modern.
Very nice. Yeah, this one didn't jump out to me when I saw the set spoiled, but in the meantime, with the people on Magic Online, all the grinders have been putting it in their decks, so
So cheap.
we'll have to try it out. Next up, we've got Healer's Flock.
Oh, well, you don't have to go over this one.
No, we're gonna go over this one because I just looked at it, and it's a triple Healer's Hawk. It's a 3-mana 3/3 for 3.
Well, you know,
White symbols.
This is mostly going to be an advertisement for our new podcast, Hawk Talk, where we talk exclusively about Return to Ravnica set limited, as well as I guess this set limited. It's going to be just about those two formats.
The Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, that's it.
Red Tail Hawks. That shitty George Lucas movie that he made about the
Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah, the Tuskegee Airmen. There you go. That's the podcast. Look for it this summer. Nothing much about Healer's Flock here. That's just our little joke. Have fun with that, everybody. Let's see what we have next.
You know, we like to have fun on the set.
There's not that many, like, stupid, big, dumb green creatures for me to put in here to make fun of Eli with, so...
Ooh, sorry about that.
Yeah, next up, we've got one of the most disappointing flavor fails of all time in this set. We've got Out of Time, and how they could make this card and not put Marty McFly on the image.
Yeah, wait for the
Insane.
Wait for the secret lair. But this one is very interesting. So you can't abuse ETB effects with it because it's phasing, but also you can do a lot of creatures for 3 mana, even though it's only temporary. I'm not sure where this card could slot in, though. I'm not sure if it would really have a home. Maybe if you were going off of the fact that it's an enchantment, because there's a lot of enchantment matters cards in this set, you could do something with it. But it's a very weird card, so I didn't want to leave it out and look like an idiot when it breaks Modern.
Yeah, this seems like something that is either completely wildly unplayable or I'm gonna hate it and you're gonna hate it. But there's maybe some sort of those weird enchantress, not enchantress. What's the deck? No, the one with the epic card.
Oh yeah.
That deck that you're gonna see this out of maybe. I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, Enduring Ideal. Thank you. What you're gonna do with Vanishing, but in EDH this card seems fucked up beyond all belief. Like, okay, I'll exile 20 creatures. They're not coming back for 20 turns. Have fun. Like,
it does scale up a bit. It's better against your token strategies.
Outside of that, we might look like idiots. Hopefully we don't. But that's Out of Time. I wish we ended with that card so I could say then we're out of time here with our review, but we don't.
It starts with an O, you know.
Yeah. Next up, we've got an uncommon with Prismatic Ending, which is the X white spell, Converge, exile target non-land permanent if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of colors. I've already seen this one a little bit in Twitter deck lists from the crazies playing on Magic Online, some sort of like Esper pile decks, but what do you think about this one? This one seems pretty versatile, but you also have to be better than Path to Exile. Maybe this is just Path to Exile 5 and 6. I don't know.
So in a 3-color deck where you can kind of pay for pay for a decent number of colors, this is basically just engineered explosives, but a target permanent instead of a sweeper.
Yeah.
Like Isolate is already kind of fringe playable, or at least very close to being playable, and it is a sorcery, not an instant. But at the worst case scenario, you can deal with permanents like Ether Vial, Arbor Elf, any of the Hierarchs, Goblin Guide, Swift Spear. It's not Abundant Growth. It's Utopia Sprawl, and that's already a great card. And it only gets better from there. You can pay 2 to exile a Tarmogoyf. Like, it's pretty flexible. And dealing with any permanent is kind of exactly what a 3-color control deck wants. Being a sorcery might limit it slightly, but I think that it's strong enough to get around it. Engineered Explosives has seen a ton of play, and this is just a targeted Engineered Explosives.
Okie dokie, we've got Prismatic Ending. That seems like you had that one on lock. Here we go. We have another one. Another card that's very likely to go in the sideboard of humans. We have Sanctifier and Vec. I don't even have to show Eli this one because he knows what it is.
Yeah, this one is just Chef's Kiss. Although we're not reviewing the card Chef's Kiss.
Yeah.
But You got protection from red, which is probably the most important color to have protection from. Black second on that list. So already you can just bring it against burn, any sort of Grixis control deck or of those colors. Your Jeskai maybe, your Espers, and then you have your Death Shadow decks. You either block or sneak by your Death Shadows. And then you have the other abilities, which effectively it's sort of like a rest in peace, but only for red and black cards or creatures, I believe. Can you check that? Is it cards or creatures?
It's
cards. Yeah, so you're exiling all of the lava darts. It's good against storm because you can exile all of their rituals. They're not going to go off if their graveyard is just cantrips. You're getting rid of all of these dredge creatures except for Narcomoeba, but they're not going to kill you with just 4 Narcomoeba. I hope. Maybe our deck is that bad, but I hope not. So it really it's like a graveyard hate spell. It's like a bad core Firewalker. It kind of hits a lot of boxes. It hits a lot of boxes, and it hits them in the right way. I think it's just an all-around solid card. You could even play it in Heliod. It's 2 white pips, right? Yeah.
I don't think it's taking over for Auriok Champion in Heliod, and I think Auriok Champion might still have a place in human sideboards, but you don't have that much room for very many 2-mana 2/2s. Or I guess Auriok Champion.
Yeah, in Modern it's important for your sideboard cards to pull double duty.
But this does really, really mess up those graveyard decks. So this one's very, very likely going to be a sideboard all-star, unless something goes horribly wrong.
And then it'll be a main deck all-star.
And then it'll be a main deck all-star, and we'll all hate ourselves. So, we just talked about Sanctifier and Vec. Next up, we've got what could be the most powerful card in the set with just a wide variety of options that you have in Modern. When I first saw this one spoiled, it scared the crap out of me. I'm, of course, talking about Solitude, with a part of the Flash Evoke free spell cycle. What's the expert from the Master about this one?
Yeah, this is maybe the scariest card in the set to me, because it has... it's just, like, terrifying that, a blue-white control player can protect themselves with for 0 mana at instant speed. There are a couple other things about this card. First of all, it's very tough. There's not a lot of decks in Modern that have enough white cards to pitch cast this. So, like, a blue-white control deck these days, it only really has maybe 10 or 8 white cards. So, like, it's got, a couple of removal spells, a couple of Teferis. So, they would have to kind of rebuild their deck in order to make use of this card consistently. Maybe Dovin's Veto is the answer, because that's a white counterspell. But that is some saving grace. Another thing is that it is Swords to Plowshares. It's not just exiling a creature. Your opponent gains life, so it's kind of insane against Death Shadow. So you might even, if Death Shadow becomes popular, you might see, like, mono-white Taxes decks go up to 4 copies of this thing or something. There's also Ephemerate synergies. If you want to make a blinky white deck, Eldrazi Displacer, Restoration Angel, this is good with all those cards. And those are the 2 biggest homes for this card.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's as good as first thought in blue-white control, because, like you said, the cards that they're pitching, like, if they're pitching Path to Exile, okay, cool, I'll gain life or get a land, whatever. If they're pitching Supreme Verdict against a Humans deck, or against Green-White Heliod, or against whatever Go-White Go-White Creature deck you're playing, okay, cool, you killed one of my creatures. But yeah, if they rebuild it and they find a way to do it, this card is going to be terrifying, because they're going to cast Teferi against you and then hold everything up for the rest of the game. So that's it for Solitude. Up next, we have... what's this at the bottom of the list? The new cards from Modern Horizons 2 Modern. We'll start off with one of my favorites from EDH. We have Karmic Guide.
Alright, this one, you're not really going to be doing a lot of value with this. This one is more for your loops, your combos. There's a new way to put Protean Hulk into play in this set, and this is a classic combo with that card. You looping it with your Sack Outlet to just reanimate something repeatedly. It doesn't even work with Restoration Angel, which is the best way to abuse an ETB effect. So it's mostly just a combo enabler, but a powerful one.
It's a good one to have around. Maybe there's some weird Abzan sort of chord deck or something like that we can get to with this. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be up to any good, especially with Protean Hulk.
Protean Hulk, TTGiki, those are the two big ones, yeah.
Next up, we have Solitary Confinement, which is a reprint from, what is this?
Judgment.
Judgment. Thank you. We've got the 3-mana enchantment that's going to ruin your day. It's going to ruin everybody else's day at the tournament. This is... What is this? This is... that Enduring Ideal deck might love this card.
Yeah, so this is in Snaring Bridge with a little bit more... work you have to put into it. You do get also prevent the damage prevention. There are a couple ways to go off with it. You have Life from the Loam plus cycling lands. You have Squee. You have any planeswalkers that draw a card. So enabling the discarded card condition, not that hard. That being said, there are a number of ways to get around this card. Bone Crusher Giant and Skullcrack will stop the damage prevention. Any sort of enchantment removal spell, your Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy will clear the way. Skyclave Apparitions, Deputy of Detentions. So, you know, it's not a foolproof strategy, but I think that it is simple enough to execute that it could be a sideboard card for a lot of, like, you know, control decks with a Jace or any deck that has a lot of card advantage in it and doesn't want to get attacked.
So, finally, we have a card that if Eli and I forgot about, it would feel really bad, because this is probably the most impactful human in the set, unless you're one of those multicolor card fans. But we've got Sanctum Prelate, the Buy a Box promo, the one that you might forget actually is in Modern now. What do we think about Sanctum Prelate? Are we playing 4 copies?
Well, this card is, I think, the most important white card in the set, at least for week 1, because the current best deck in Modern is Blueberry Prowess, and that deck plays exclusively 1-drop spells and creatures. So they currently cannot do anything if this card is in play, naming 1. They can obviously just make their deck worse by putting a couple of Braids or some of the other, like, Izzet Charms or whatever you want. You know, some sort of 2-mana deal 2 or 3 in their deck. And, you know, not be just dead to this card. But even then, you have to, like, find it. If you don't have it, you can't find it with your cantrips, because those are shut off. This part also obviously has other applications. You can name 2 against Storm. You can name 4 against Scapeshift. You can name 4 against Control. You can name 1 against Control. Yeah, the sky is the limit with this card. But 4 copies, I think, might be a good idea. You know, in the first couple weeks, while people are still mucking about with their Lava Dart, Monastery, Swiftspear decks. After that, it might go down as things start to shift with this card in mind. But it's just a very powerful card. It's just, you know, Chalice of the Void on a body, and it doesn't affect you.
Yeah, now we don't have to mess up our mana to play Chalice of the Void. For humans decks, at least. And this might slot into other green-white decks, like Green-White Company, Green-White Heliod.
2-white Devotion.
Yeah, it's 2-white Devotion. You could put it in, if you're like me and you're a sadist and you love playing Devoted Druid, this card probably finds its way into that deck. Anywhere that you want to not get fucked by Lava Dart.
Yeah, it is a 3-drop for Collector Company.
Yeah, you get to play this card.
There's a lot of applications.
You get to play this card now, so... That's it for the white cards that we're going to go through. Seems like white actually might be getting a nice kick in the ass with this set. There are plenty of sort of very on the nose powerful cards, and then there are some of these ones under the surface a little bit that could rise up and just destroy Modern. But as for us, that's it for the white cards. Make sure to stay tuned for all the other colors and the final review of Modern Horizons 2 with Eli and I. And thanks for watching.